Hey, welcome to the Rediscover Geek podcast. I am your host, Chris Jansen, and this is episode 21, the Lime Cucumber Gatorade episode, because
It's
clearly,
delicious.
yeah, it's what we couldn't think of a title, and so we just went with the first thing that Caesar saw in front of him. Um, I'm joined here, as usual, by my fellow hosts, Anthony and Caesar. Hey guys, how you doing today? Caesar, you look a little tired. You
I'm
might
beat,
fall
man.
asleep on us.
I'm worried I might, yes. So keep me entertained, Jensen. But yeah, I am
Not
extremely,
gonna
extremely
happen.
tired.
Won't happen, but I will do my best. Do you guys have a good week? It's been a day since I talked to you.
Good
Uh,
week. We're only on Tuesday.
I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, the week's going pretty good so far.
Well, I mean, since the last podcast, so everybody else knows since their last live show what you guys have been doing this last week.
I've been dealing with more 2020 BS. So
Mm-hmm.
this year just sucks. And to make things worse, the Dodgers might win the World Series. So yeah, it gets even better.
Two LA teams winning the
I don't mind
back-to-back
the Lakers
championships.
because I don't watch basketball. So
I
congratulations to the Lakers, especially after what happened earlier this year that actually basically started everything. The unfortunate passing of Kobe. So yeah, good to the Lakers, but I just have never liked the Dodgers.
I don't watch the World Series, but I heard that like the last game had like the craziest ending, or there was one game that had like the craziest ending in baseball history. I
Hmm.
I probably
Oh yeah, the errors by the Dodgers. You mean
yeah, I probably should have like watched it, but I just read that it was the craziest ending in World Series history. So,
that was funny. That was funny. I laughed. It was a good watch.
what kind of jacket? What does your jacket say? It says Project Z.
Yes, Dragon Ball Project Z. So, as you remember, I'm sure I used to work for Bandai Namco. This is actually the last project I took part in. So, at the time it was called Project Z, but it's now known as Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah.
Wait, I haven't done too much this week and last week. You guys were wondering what I was doing.
No, we didn't
I worked.
ask.
I worked. I worked a little. I read a little, watched a little, had the weekend off, which is nice. These off seasons are really nice having weekends off. Felt a little under the weather one of the days, but now I'm back and
That's
I'm here
good.
with you guys.
How long does the off season last?
Um, I'll go till next year. I can't really say anything.
Well, especially too since it got shifted, right? Or at least there was a lot of scheduling changes, so it wasn't a typical season, right? This
Oh
year.
yeah, yeah. This year was extended, uh, extended by a couple months due to COVID. So it was the year that never ended, or the season that never ended. So it's nice to have a little break before we
Cool.
get into everything else. So okay, let's kick this off. Let's get into the news.
Real quick, I do have to update you.
Oh no.
I'm updating the chats if anyone's watching, and I'm updating you guys for the first time. Should have mentioned this, but like I said, I'm tired. We have been getting warnings about possible power outages in Orange County because of all the fires going on over here. So if
Well,
the
that's
stream happens to shut off, it's because I lost power. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm just giving everyone a heads up.
that's a
Oops.
really great heads up. I wish,
I'm
I wish
sorry.
you might have like mentioned that.
I don't think it's
Um,
gonna happen, but
You don't
are
you
Bolland
you?
don't have a UPS there? I'm disappointed, Caesar.
UPS.
Yeah, uninterruptible power supply. Should be
Oh no,
you
I
should get
don't.
your uptime for 45 minutes.
Well, I'm still waiting for Chris Jansen to provide that.
No, you're in Cerritos, right? So you are Orange County,
I'm
right?
in Cyprus.
Cyprus.
Yes, literally
Okay.
next to Buena Park, which best way to describe it is I live right by Knott's Berry Farm.
Okay. Those fires are crazy, by the way. That's like,
It's fucking scary, dude. Yesterday I woke up. One thing, the wind woke me up, so I wasn't expecting all that wind to be happening, and it was super loud. So that's what woke me up. And then I look outside and it's gloomy. And like, what is going on? I turn on the news and the entire OC is on fire. What the hell just happened overnight?
yeah, there's like ash on my car. It smells really bad. I was kind of pretty upset that our kids, Finn's daycare, they let them play outside today, and I was like, air quality is like terrible outside.
Mm.
There
Um,
was I don't like to really make fun during these times, especially when it's so close. But there was this awesome picture. I don't know if you guys have seen it, of some kid on a swing, and in the background, just a
Just
burning inferno, and it just reads just another day in Irvine.
I thought
uh,
Knott's was all the way up like in Santa Clarita, or no, like closer down almost to San Diego. I didn't realize it was just there in Buena Park.
Knots? No, it's just right here. It's right. If you're
Mm.
going to Disneyland, you're gonna have to pass Knots unless you're taking the 5. But
yeah,
Yeah, so that drive to Hawthorne is a
yeah. I
bear.
was gonna say that's a pretty big drive.
Yeah,
actually, it takes me about 30 minutes to get there. So it's not. That's to get there, and
to
that's early
get
in the morning.
there,
But yeah,
but coming home,
I
yeah.
definitely hit the rush hour
Ugh,
traffic, and it doubled. Typical LA traffic. It doubles or triples.
yeah,
Yeah. Um. All right.
lame.
So now that we know that your power can go out, let's try to get through this.
Let's
You're
go.
sleepy. You might fall asleep, and your power will go out. So we're working. We have a lot to work against.
Either
First,
way, there's a big chance something's going out, either Caesar or his computer.
yeah.
There you go.
We'll keep you entertained until your power goes out. Kick things off. We all saw this coming. I think it's pretty funny that um that Quibi shut down. I think it shut down like the day after our last podcast, right? It was like
Yeah,
last Wednesday they announced they announced the shutdown. Um, I just think it's so funny that like everybody saw this. My thing is that if you asked anybody that was of like our generation or younger, um, the moment when it was announced, everybody told you it was gonna fail. Like there,
Yeah.
no one saw like a way for it to work. Like it just was like the way they were thinking about it. I don't know. It's like old school like Hollywood thinking that somehow people would want to watch short form content. Like the type of short form content they're talking about on on a screen.
well,
It's sad. Oh, go ahead.
no, do you think it was just an overall bad idea, or it was really highly bad timing? Because its whole shtick was that it was supposed to be, the watchability was supposed to be wherever you were going. So if you were in line, if you were traveling, if you were commuting, you could watch these short segments. But because of COVID, the ability to be like outside and going somewhere, that was severely impacted. I think what their mission statement was.
I think it was both. I think that even if COVID wouldn't have hit, it wouldn't have done anything
Wouldn't have
anyway.
taken off.
Like I just don't see like short form. Like I get like short form content on like YouTube, or like when you're watching like those type of videos, like those type of content pieces that you see across everywhere. Sorry, I'm watching this thing now. It's definitely showing off. I mean, it's just weird
Speaking of
content on there.
short
Yeah,
form content, ooh.
yeah, no. I could see like I see people watching that because hell, that's what YouTube's like for, and that's why YouTube's famous and big. It's just I don't like when it comes to like narrative, I don't see people watching short form narrative in that same way. Like I don't see a Game of Thrones. Like, can you imagine Game of Thrones like in on Quibi? Like you're watching 7 minute episodes and you have like a 20 season like arc, but it's broken into 7 minutes. Like no one wants that. Like people are complaining that they can't stream. Like it's a battle between who like streaming. Like I complain because like Mandalorian's releasing on Thursday, right? And I have to only watch one episode and then I have to wait and I can't watch all of them as a whole. I complain about that. Like what makes people like I can't imagine like 7 minutes. Like I just don't think it would have worked to begin with at all. Period.
Well, I
And
mean
then COVID hit and
the
then like
whole
nobody
the,
wanted to.
the whole 7 minutes is basically because you're kind of on the go, and I get that. You may have time for a quick 7 minute episode, and then you got to get back to work or whatever you were doing. I get it, but I completely agree with you. I don't see how this would ever work because if I am trying to watch like a Game of Thrones, I want to watch more than 7 minutes, and more than likely, I do have the time to put in more than 7 minutes. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to watch just 7 minute increments of Game of Thrones or any other show, honestly. And if that were the case, I just stream it off of HBO and maybe just get those 7 minutes and I'll come back to it later. I don't need an app that really just focuses on 7 minute increments. It just didn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. Um, I don't watch my phone vertical, no matter what. It bugs it bugs the hell out of me when people, especially when people start they start recording and their phone is vertical and then they think they could go and fix it by flipping it. No, you just fucked up the video even more because now it's sideways. Okay, so I never thought Quibi was going to be good. I'm not surprised this happened. It sucks, but yeah, I mean, I'm shocked to think that they actually thought this would be a success.
I mean, $1.7 billion was spent on this. Now, I guess the one good thing you could sit there and say is that it kept a lot of people employed during the pandemic. Um, so I think I like read somewhere that it was like a Hollywood stimulus because
Oh wow.
it kept people employed, and that's true. Like they spent a lot of money on a lot of random weird stuff, and people were like they were buying a lot of stuff and spending a lot of money. So I that was the one good thing, but yeah, it was never gonna.
I feel like if most people that went into this or got a job working for Quibi, they knew this was coming.
I mean,
they could not. I'm sure when they got the news, they were like, "Well, there it is."
yep.
And we went on
Oh,
longer
yeah.
than expected. Yay!
Any last final thoughts, Anthony?
No, I wasn't really too, same thing, wasn't really into it before. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't think, well, I mean, it could have been one of those things too, where they were hoping for a big buyout. Somebody come up, one of the Facebooks or Google's like, oh, let's buy you out for $4 billion.
Yeah, you really have great content, but
Yeah.
no one's watching. Let's buy you out.
Yeah, but no, I
Well,
agree with you. I think it's hard from, like you said, the narrative perspective to have that short form. It makes a lot of sense for the cat videos and for those ridiculous videos that really don't have like a coherent narrative. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, like you said, I don't necessarily find myself I need to watch short form content on the go. It's like because you're kind of doing something else, or at least
yeah, you're either
I just
working, and that's what YouTube's for. You're not,
yeah.
and also like if you're supposed to work at like if you're watching this like at work, like you're watching on your computer, you're not pulling your phone out and watching like Quibi on your phone. You're watching like
Yeah, you
YouTube
use
so you
your
can like
company hardware to do
yeah.
stuff that is besides your work.
Yeah, but because you could like switch windows, you could just like click out. People, if they see you on your phone all the time watching Quibi, it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
Can't hide the telephone in the workplace.
Yeah.
I wonder how many workplaces still have like I feel like that's become like so lax now, like having your phone at work. Like I know like retail you can't have your phone out at work, but like the normal workplace, like I always had my phone out at work. Like I was always randomly checking my phone.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's been studies too, or how much time is wasted of people just doing other stuff besides their
Besides
work.
actually working.
Yeah.
Let's
The
not get
funny
into
thing is
that.
still too is people that use incognito mode on their browser thinking that it'll hide their traffic.
I bet as like an IT specialist, you
Exactly. It's
like
like, no,
It
they can
doesn't work
still
that way.
see everything you're going to.
that's true. That's so funny. Um, okay, moving on. Speaking of like on streaming, this was kind of like news at the beginning of last week or sometime last week, and then it kind of like got squashed. But we decided to talk about it was Bond, how Bond was being bid out, or some of the bigger tech companies were vying for Bond, the new Bond movie. Um, I think it's since been it's it's been said that they're not going to go streaming, right? It's still going to be a theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I've
was very
heard.
Here's what's interesting that just came out today, according to the Hollywood Reporter. So it was MGM Pictures partner Eon. So basically, it sounded like it was MGM that started the bidding, and then Eon Productions that produces Bond came in and put a stop to the bidding. So that's why it seemed like there was, because they learned about the studio pursuing a streaming deal. So that's why it seemed really weird where we saw it seemed like almost like it was for bid and then all of a sudden, like, it was gone. That's
Uh,
apparently what happened. So Eon Productions never wanted to pursue a streaming deal and never saw like contemplating like streaming Bond,
huh.
the newest film. It was their studio partner MGM.
That's like interesting. I mean, I'm all like, I want more of these to go streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
Yeah,
saw a number that they were looking for like 600 million. And obviously that covers like production costs. It gives them some profit. They're clearly making enough to cover their costs. I don't know if maybe it's worth like an Apple picking it up because that would literally drive people to get Apple. Um, I don't know if it's like for a Netflix or somebody to do it. Like, does
yeah.
Netflix need Bond on there and need to spend 600 million for Bond? But an Apple, I would have thought that would have been a cool thing.
So then, according to Hollywood Reporter, so basically Eon is run like by Barbara Broccoli. So she's like basically the daughter to the original Bond producer. Um, and her whole idea was like she thinks that a streaming Bond would be a misstep for the franchise because it would essentially kind of almost undermine its prestige. And once you open that gate, you're never going to get out of
You
it.
can't go back. I
So
get
yeah,
that, but like what you're gonna run into is who knows when this is coming out.
well,
Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like
and people are just
still
gonna lose interest. Like,
no. I don't think people. I think people will not lose interest because you're still gonna release it, and I think it's
I
gonna be
think it's
this
really
pent up.
weird.
It's gonna be this pent
Like
up excitement.
maybe for people, but I think it's really weird when a movie is released like 2 years after it was finished filming. Like, and you've
But
seen
has
this.
that really been the
I,
case?
no, I don't know if that's the actual case for this one, but I'm just saying like in 2 years, Daniel Craig's gonna look older. And I'm gonna see like he's gonna be doing press, and then he's gonna look like really like young. I don't know. I just don't like. Yeah, I don't like when. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not. I feel like I'll lose interest in it if it gets dragged out. Like I lost interest in Tenet. Like I care less about Tenet now. Um, so now I'm just gonna
Yeah,
wait
but
till it.
Tenant's original. This is Bond.
But it's still, I'm still gonna lose interest in it. Like I don't know.
Really? You're gonna lose interest in it? So
I
when it
mean, I'm
finally
still gonna
releases, you're gonna
watch.
be like, eh.
I won't go see it in theater. Now I'm just gonna wait for it to come out on video.
Well, yeah, at that point you waited this long. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
what like that's the thing. Like nothing's gonna force me to go to the movie theater now to watch it.
So
So
even if
no
they
matter
did
what,
release it, it wouldn't matter.
it
So
wouldn't
even if they
matter.
were,
Like
yeah. So it's kind of almost like that point is really moot. Like whether when it's being released, you're saying more of like what platform it's being released on.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
see, that makes sense. That I agree with you on. One, I wouldn't have gone because again, I think we've covered this several times already. That during this pandemic year, I can't believe it. Pandemic year is actually a fucking term now. But during this pandemic year, we already said we're not going to the theater. Period. More than likely, most of next year, I'm not going to the theater. So that was already off the list of things to do. But yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Now I have less incentive to want to go watch this in theater because I've already waited this long. I knew I wasn't going to go. And you know what? I can wait a little longer for it to come
yeah.
out
That's
streaming.
that's my thing. It's like I could just wait longer.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason. I've waited so long. There's no reason for me to go and see it in a movie theater
Yeah, I
when it
agree with
finally
you on that
does
one.
release. So I'd be curious to see
Well,
like if yeah, I feel like they'd get more eyeballs on it. Like I get like the ruined the prestige of seeing like the movie on a Bond film on a gigantic screen. I get that, but then
Or
it's like
or a
that's not the
mobile
way the
phone.
world's moving. Like this is the way like the world's moving.
true, but I
Um,
think it's like that whole thing where like I think more people are probably ready for the transition than I think studio executives and the way the production machine has been going for so
yeah,
long is ready for. I think it's just this is really forcing them to kind of figure out now what they should have been trying to think about for the last like several
yeah,
years is how to make the transition. And I think they're trying to figure out how do we make this transition.
yeah. No, I agree.
And
I
I think
also
what
think that
sucks is like some of the productions that are, like you said, they're already done. So it's like, what do we do with it now?
yeah,
Because
I
they put
think
so
that
much money into it.
well that's why I feel like if they're going for a price that makes it so they make money out of it, like 600 million, they would have made profit clearly. Um, that's what I think the studio
Yeah.
should be going for. I think Quibi should have spent some of their 1.7 billion and just cut up Bond into like how many
Cut
like
up
it's
into
probably
short
like
form chunks.
yeah like 10-minute episodes 10-minute episodes of the new Bond film released every week for the next year. Like
Well, so we've talked a little bit about it. So what do you think if they should, what if you were an advisor for MGM and Eon, what would you say to them?
put them
Like,
on
this is how
stream.
you should do it.
Yeah,
How?
I'd
What
say
would you be your plan?
get it out to stream like what they were trying to do and then they backed off on. That would be the plan.
But bid it
Call
out
it a
as a
wash.
streaming mean that they would basically, the streamer could then just like just showcase it as soon as
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deal was
If
done.
they're saying paying $600 million,
Hmm.
they could release it whenever they felt like once that happened. Yeah, that's. I mean, I think at this point it's like a wash. Or any movie that's done filming and they're released, it's been pushed for so long. I think they just need to call it a wash. Make like they just need to do the streaming thing and just push progress forward. And then who knows? Maybe it won't work out, and then you'll know like, hey, people want to go back to the movie theater in like 2 years. But they just yeah, this like waiting is just like less incentive for me to see anything like Black Widow. I'm just gonna wait on. Like there's no reason for me to go to a movie theater to see Black Widow. Like all these movies that keep getting pushed, there's no reason. Like I've waited this long, I could wait a little bit longer. So
It's going to be interesting because according to that report, so yeah, so MGM was looking, we're hoping for 650 to 7 million offer or higher to recover its 250 million in production costs and 50 million marketing, as well as here's the kicker. And this is why it makes sense why that offer, because you would think, okay, if Apple TV is going to offer you 350 or 400 million, why wouldn't you just take it? Because you're going to recoup your costs and make a little bit of profit. License fees to its distribution partners and deals for stars Daniel Craig, Malik, and
yeah, all
director.
the back end stuff, right?
So that's the problem is, again, all of these fees that need to be paid out for their traditional distribution. That is, again, something that they should have been considering for so long.
Yeah.
That whole distribution model has changed, you know?
Yeah, no. Cool.
I think it's the thing where it's gonna take a couple more years for it to sort itself out, because now that now they have to play catch up.
Yeah, I think it's what is. I mean, I think as Netflix and Amazon, as they start putting more and more budget towards like these big theatrical release type movies that they're releasing straight to their streaming service, they're going to be so far ahead of what everybody's doing.
Well, they are so far
Yeah,
ahead,
they're already so far
but
ahead.
do you think
But
there's going to be a reckoning because they keep taking on more debt?
oh yeah, I'm
And
sure.
but at some point their subscriber base they're not going to have the growth anymore. Like they're going to plateau their subscriber base, right?
Well, I think there's still plenty of growth for them to have though. There's smarter people working there than me. And they're probably saying like they still have they still have a huge growth. They have a worldwide growth that they haven't even tapped into. Like I think it's only like I don't know how many households in the U.S. have Netflix, but I mean there's still growth in the U.S. Anywho, moving on because that took up a lot of time and we're eating into time and I
We're
know
worried
Caesar's
about time.
because Caesar's trying to fall asleep.
I'm trying to fall
We'll
asleep.
just keep
I'm
going.
trying to
Yeah,
stay awake.
that's what I mean. And we're like boring with them by numbers on Bond movies and how many Netflix subscribers.
Well, he's gonna be fine. There's gonna be a topic he's gonna get really
I'm just really worried about Quibi, guys.
I mean, it's gone, dude. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's true.
Moving on, Snyder Cut. They announced a bunch of new things
There you go.
on the
You
Snyder
can yell
stuff.
about
There you
that
go.
one.
I'll give you this one, Caesar. Tell us what's
There you
going
go.
on with the Snyder Cut. The $90 million they're spending on the Snyder Cut Justice League movie.
I don't know what the hell's going on with the Snyder Cut. Honestly, I don't know what the hell's going on. At this point, it's just a joke. In my opinion, it's just a joke. And, I didn't want to find a trailer or anything to actually, touch on this to give you visual aids. I treated everything as a damn joke because that's what this is, okay? When I
I'm
read
like,
that the Joker, that Jared Leto
sorry.
was coming back as the Joker, like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
I like
why?
the versus king.
Oh my God.
That's great.
I'm not happy with what they're doing, and
Oh, it's so good.
I didn't mess with Wonder Woman. She's you leave her alone.
Oh,
But
Moana, man.
yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what to say about what's going on because one, I mean, you've already given us the Justice League, and it was just not good. Okay, it wasn't good. Um, Leave it at that. And now you want to deliver something. I don't know what you want to deliver. I don't know what to say about this. I am just thrown back. I don't know what to say about it other than the fact that to me now it's just a joke and I'm treating it as a joke. And I don't even know if I'm going to watch. If I do watch, it's probably because I probably went to my mom's house and my brother in law had it on TV and, oh, I'll watch it. But not because I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, so good.
What are you reading?
No, I'm just I've never I haven't seen the graphics that he made for this.
Yeah, I found like all
Sorry.
these, and here's the thing: like I went looking for these images, and this is what they had. I mean, this is what they're giving us. This is what DC is giving us with these movies. You got the Joker that I mean, he just looks too cool. Aquaman probably is the best one, but honestly, Jason Momoa, I didn't like him as Aquaman. Okay, I didn't like the way he came off. I can dig it. I didn't like the way he came off as Aquaman. I think Wonder Woman. I think what Gal Gadot did for Wonder Woman was fantastic. That's why I didn't mess with her. You leave her alone. Um, Batman. I think Ben Affleck's Batman again. Still, I wish we could see more of him because I think Ben Affleck killed it as Batman and as Bruce Wayne.
You're
But
gonna see him in this,
I
man.
know, but everything else, I
And
mean,
then you're gonna see him in the Flash movie.
I don't know,
There you go.
dude. I don't know. I got nothing to say about this, and I don't know what Zack Snyder's doing, but I'm not looking forward to this. I think I'm gonna watch James Bond before I watch this.
I mean, I'll watch this because I have HBO Max already. So,
Like I said,
but it is
if
crazy that it's like it's essentially like a brand new movie, right? And they're spending like
it's
$90 million,
insane.
probably more now, with reshoots and stuff like that. That is pretty crazy that they're going back in and reshooting and recutting an entire film
Well, here's the
for
thing
90
too. It's
million
like
bucks.
I think it's two things happening. One, I don't think his cut was going to be any better anyways.
Yeah.
And I think what's happened now is the hype has gotten so big that there's this pressure that he has to deliver something much greater than I think he initially his initial cut of the film is probably completely different now because now he's like, okay, I've got all this extra money, I've got
Oh
this
yeah.
time, we can go in, I'm going to add this, I'm going to add that. I think it might be a case of it being a little over engineered. So now it's like it's just going to be a hot mess because he's trying to put basically everything into the stew and it's just not going to work. And I mean, you look at his filmography, like he's not, it's he's not Zack Snyder. I mean, he's
Enough
not.
said. Enough said.
I
He
mean, I
look at
there's
his
definitely
filmography and tell me which film has been a magnum opus of
I wouldn't
cinema.
I wouldn't call them magnum opus, but I will say like 300 changed the way people did. It definitely had an effect on movies that were being made, like action films after, just
Well,
like
yeah, he definitely
stylized
has a
fighting and stuff like.
style. Yeah, he
Yeah, and
definitely has a
I feel like that
style.
changed. That's
But if you go
uh,
back and watch that movie now, does it hold up?
yeah, I still think it holds up. I also like Dawn of the Dead. I liked his remake of Dawn of the Dead. I thought that was really well done. But those are probably the only two. I don't even know his filmography. I didn't like Watchmen, but I just don't like Watchmen. Um, except for the HBO series, I do like that. Um,
Okay, it
yeah,
went
I don't
Dawn of
have.
the Dead,
I like that one.
300,
300. I like that one.
then Watchmen.
Okay, didn't like that.
Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Gahuli,
Okay, I know what that is, but I didn't.
Gesundheit.
I didn't. Yeah,
Sucker Punch,
did not like that movie.
Man of Steel.
Um,
I enjoyed
there's
Man of Steel.
there's aspects of it I
There's
liked.
I
aspects of it,
enjoyed
yeah.
I enjoyed Man
There's
of
aspects
Steel.
I liked of it.
And then
Man of
Batman versus
Steel.
Superman.
Man of Steel is the one that actually got me excited for Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
See, I saw
Yeah,
Man of
I mean,
Steel. I enjoyed it.
I like aspects of Batman v Superman too.
Yeah.
I hated Doomsday, but that's
But then it goes Justice League.
yeah. It doesn't
So
really have like a long. I guess over years though, you're looking at like 20-year career, right? But it's only like 7 movies, 8 movies.
well yeah, Dawn of the Dead was 20 or 2004.
So he hasn't even
So
had. He's only had like a 16-year career.
yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's just it's fascinating because I don't think this is gonna be, but I think also too it's gonna be one of those movies, watch, where it's gonna be everybody's gonna buy into their own hype.
Yeah.
They're gonna say that they were waiting for it. It's gonna deliver on all fronts when it's actually a horrible film. But
Yeah.
they cannot accept that it being anything less than their hopes and dreams. So they're gonna will themselves to like it and think it's the most amazing thing ever. 4 hours. Over 4
4
hours.
hours. Yep, that's crazy. So crazy. Um. All right. So that was that. And then another. Moving on, Uncharted. There's some Uncharted news. Caesar, I'll give you this one too. Keep you going. What do you got for Uncharted?
Yeah, are
He
you
just
worried
tried
about
it.
this one, Caesar? I'm a little worried about this film.
I'm not. I think the casting's good. I was a little concerned about Mark Wahlberg as Sully because I just
Yeah.
feel like I mean, we've seen Sully. He's much older, but a little
When
makeup here
Marky
and
Mark
there.
can play the snark,
Yeah, that's
he's
why.
got that way where he can
Yeah,
be
I thought
snarky
about
and
it, and Marky Mark kind of plays the same character in every movie, but he pulls it off. So more than likely, Sully's gonna be from Boston. He's gonna be
say hello to your mother for me.
he's gonna be wicked smart. Um, but no, you know what? I'm excited for it. I mean, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. That picture that they released was he looked good. He looked good as Nathan
Yeah.
Drake. That screenshot that well, not screenshot, but that selfie that Mark Wahlberg took. He doesn't look bad as Sully. He really doesn't. So that's all we have to go off right now. But I'm not gonna say I have high hopes, but as of what I've seen so far, it doesn't look too bad. But we'll see what happens, in the coming days, coming weeks, coming months, and what more we see. But I will say this much: I love Uncharted. I
Yeah.
love that series. I fucking love it.
I've never
So
played it.
you got some big shoes, big shoes.
Well, and that's why I was saying, like, possibly worried about it, being able to match that sense. Well, because, and especially too, because the last game, I was really surprised with Uncharted 4. I thought it had a lot more heart than I expected. It went really back to the first one where there's that sense of adventure.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed a lot of what they did with the relationships between all the characters. I thought they did a really good job of dealing with a lot of that stuff of their conflicts and having to deal with each other and some of their history. Especially that was a big thing, is the history. And I thought they really nailed that. So I'm hoping some of the magic will be in this, because also too, Tom Holland I think is maybe slightly younger, version of Nathan Drake
Yeah.
than I think we
Yeah.
might be used to. I think he definitely has the chops to pull it off. I'm more worried about kind of the overall tone of the film, and it
You're
really
just
hitting.
worried that most video game movies are god awful.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think honestly, I think Tom Holland just has more of a baby face. He just really looks young. I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
his physique actually fits the part of Nathan Drake. And if we go back to the first Uncharted, it looks good. It's definitely not on point. He could use a more defined jaw. I mean, if you really want to be like Nathan Drake, but I think it's that. I think that he just has that baby face, and it makes him look much younger than what he really comes off as.
yeah.
But I am I want to. I'm looking forward to seeing more on this because again, I love the games. So as of right now, I'm a little excited, and it's Tom Holland. You know, I like Tom Holland. I got nothing against Mark Wahlberg. I actually like his acting. So the only thing is, like I said, he plays the same character.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because yeah, it's being directed by the guy who did Venom. He's done a lot of TV work, and I think let me look at the writer again. There's a couple writers on it, so
And I think last I read, I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog, they have a lot of say in this. So, I mean, it's their franchise, it's their baby. So I'm sure they're gonna
yeah,
be fully involved.
yeah, the writers. I don't know. It could be. I mean, they did do Iron Man, but they also did Punisher Warzone and Transformers: The Last Night
See,
and
Oh God.
Men in Black International.
Oh man, you're really killing.
oh,
Matt, you
dude,
know
I
it's
mean,
actually gonna be great because I'm gonna watch it before I actually play the game. I'm gonna go back and play the game afterwards. I'm gonna play the game second. I'm gonna base it everything off the movie. That's gonna be interesting.
see, the thing about Uncharted is the first one, fantastic gameplay. Story was good, but the gameplay is what really made Uncharted. And then the second game, you had a really nice balance of fantastic gameplay, and
Yeah.
they stepped up their storytelling, and the story just got richer and richer after that. It's like, man, this game is such a good story. It's such a good game, and Naughty Dog, they know how to make games, and they know how to really bring you into their games. They really bring you into those games, and that's the best part about it. So that's the other thing is we've experienced Uncharted in a way that you really can't experience in theaters or on TV.
Yeah.
So, like I said, big shoes to fill there, but it'd be nice to see a movie version. So we'll see.
Well, are you excited about seeing the movie version, or was it television version of Assassin's Creed?
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Ah, dude, we got too much Assassin's Creed already. I'm not even looking forward to the next game. What are we on? Fucking Assassin's Creed 20 or I don't know where we're at with Assassin's Creed, but the movie was god awful. And honestly, when I first played Assassin's Creed, when I played the first Assassin's Creed for my first time, it was not that great. The whole futuristic aspect, and then going into the
That
past and trying to figure it's a mess. In my opinion, I
that
didn't.
was my. I think we've already talked about
Yes,
this
we
like
did.
months
We
ago.
touched on
Like
this, and
I love the whole like medieval aspect of it and the time periods. I hated the whole future stuff and like you're
yeah,
going back into memories. I was like, I don't get that. And I'm kind of hoping that they cut that out of the actual TV series. So
I don't know. It seems like such a big part of the game. That's why I'm worried about this Uncharted because I feel like there hasn't been a great track record of like video game adaptations yet. The comic books have gotten to that place where the adaptations have been solid, but we're still waiting for that renaissance for video game
like I would
movie
think
adaptations.
like that's yeah, I just don't understand why we haven't gotten to that point yet. Like
Because I think it's a harder medium. I think with comic books, you're still utilizing like a static image, but I think that's very difficult with the games. Like Caesar had mentioned, they're so interactive. So
well, I
there's a
get that.
layer that we're experiencing, especially the fans and the gamers are experiencing it in a different way than you can really convey with a movie. So I think it really takes a nice blend of a filmmaker who's really good at making movies, but comes from a game like perspective. So they're able to integrate both very well. And I think we just haven't really seen that yet. We haven't seen that great balance of movie magic with a gamer, you know.
Uh I'm not necessarily like movie magic. I'm just thinking like there's good storytelling in movies. It's just every time you get to a game adaptation, like they seem to lose the storytelling and they try to focus more on like the action components of the actual game as opposed to the story.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like Assassin's Creed, like there's plenty of great movies about assassins or whatever, like medieval, like telling that story. Like I don't understand why we haven't got to that point where they could transition that, but just encompass the game, like the characters in the game, into this great story. Like I
Hopefully,
get the different mediums, but you can tell fantastic stories in movies. Like, why does it have to be a crappy video game? Like, or why does the video game movie have to be crappy? Like, that's what I just don't understand.
Yeah, and it might be it's hopefully to like something that we were talking about earlier was like these giant set pieces. Like they have to make those action pieces because they have to be these tentpole movies. So there is this more focus on action and explosions and spectacle than really having a good story.
Yeah.
Hopefully that might change a little bit more now since the whole industry is being upended.
Yeah. Then I realized that Twitch isn't. It's only like maybe 5 to 6 seconds off of our actual um conversation. I
So
don't know
we are
why.
actually in the future.
Yeah, it's
We
not
are in
even like
Assassin's Creed right now.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
like um all right, moving on away from movies for a change. Should we go to TV or do you want to talk comics there, Anthony?
Great segue.
I'm giving it to you. You haven't talked. You want to talk? You could talk about the TV component. We could talk about the
What do we
dynamic
have on
forces.
TVs?
We have Tim Burton, the Atom Family, and Oscar Isaac taken on as Moon Knight. Or we can literally just say that's the TV, and then we could just move on because we're getting really heavy and we haven't even hit.
I don't know if it's interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe it's because I've been reading a lot of Moon Knight recently, and Moon Knight was actually just in the Avengers run right now. There was like a 5-issue arc, and I think he's going to be in it for a little bit. Basically, essentially, spoiler alert, he's he has the Phoenix Force at the end of
Oh,
that. So
that's
there's like
weird.
this big, yeah, it's really odd.
How does
So
he get
there's
the
they're
Phoenix
they're doing
Force?
some weird stuff with Moon Knight, but also Moon Knight is such a weird character. Fascinating, but I don't know if Oscar Isaac is. It's just interesting casting.
I mean, I don't know enough about Moon Knight to think like, oh, Oscar Isaac doesn't like fit that character. I like Oscar Isaac, maybe not necessarily in some of his roles. I was super excited for Oscar Isaac to be Apocalypse.
Are you kidding me?
No, when I saw him, I was super excited about it. Then obviously when the movie came out, like it was a completely like 180. Where, um,
No, but
but I was
I gotta ask you. You were actually genuinely excited even after you saw images of him as Apocalypse
I
before the
actually
movie
didn't mind
release?
it. Like I clearly he wasn't the Apocalypse that I grew up like with in comic books, but I just thought that he was going to do a good job because I liked him as an actor. Because at that time, I had like Ex Machina, I had like these types of roles that I really enjoyed seeing him in, and so I was like, oh, this is a really good actor, and him playing Apocalypse was going to be. Yeah, now when I'm watching this trailer now, like there's some images of Apocalypse where I'm like, okay, that looks pretty janky.
The first time I saw the first image of him as Apocalypse, it was, in my opinion, just poor casting. He did not fit the part at all, in my opinion. And the very first character that came to mind when I did see that was Ivan Ooze, okay, from the Power Rangers movie. That's all that kept coming to mind was Ivan
But
Ooze. That's exactly who he looked like.
I think that would have been any character though that who the way
See,
they portrayed Apocalypse in this anybody that was playing him would have been
See, I don't think
Ooze.
so. I think they went the wrong direction. I think what Marvel did with Thanos, I think that was the direction they should have gone because they made Thanos look fucking great. That's my opinion, of course, but I think Thanos looked great, and I think that was the direction they should have gone with Apocalypse because he's up there. And no, they just literally put some makeup on Oscar Isaac, and it just looked bad. It looked really, really bad.
Well, and also too, if we look at what was the time between X-Men and Apoc. I was going to say we can give them the benefit of the doubt, but no, that was 2016.
Yeah, they had the
They
graphics
clearly
back
had the tech.
then.
They clearly had the tech to pull off a better Apocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like okay, look, like they wanted to go the makeup route. They wanted to do the prosthetics. What's wrong with that? I'm all for
And
prosthetics.
I'm all for that too. Believe me, I'm all for that. That's one thing that really bugged me about Cyborg in Justice League. I felt that they could have done more prosthetics than made them all CG. The only thing on
Yeah.
him was just his face. So believe me, I'm with you on that. But I just think you gotta, really make good choices, especially when it comes to the X-Men, because you're already in a deep hole and you're about to deliver the apocalypse story, and this is what you
I'm,
gave us.
but I mean, the person that was directing it, like, he created that deep hole.
No, I know, and
So
he just
it's his version of a X-Men. So he just kept digging it, like,
yeah.
um. But I feel like he fits the billing for Moon Knight, but I don't know enough about Moon Knight. So I like him as an actor. So I think it's cool. And I also think that just it's like shows that Marvel, like, what they're looking to do with the TV side now is that they're putting like Oscar Isaac in a Marvel TV show.
Hmm.
Like that's pretty big. Like that means that they're treating these, like, I mean, like Winter Soldier, all those, they're treating these like movies. And so I feel like it's going to be a good transition. So I'm hoping that it's good.
Yeah, I think that's what it really is. He's in good hands now, as opposed to when he did this. Again, in my opinion, it was bad casting, and they just put him in a really bad spot. Uh, I agree with you. I think he's a great actor. I liked him as Poe, but he just did not pull off Apocalypse. I don't blame him 100%. I don't think they should have casted him. I think they should have gone elsewhere. And again, they should have taken more of a Thanos approach on it. But now he's in better hands. What Marvel's been doing with all their TV shows and their movies obviously has been great, and I'm with you on that one too, Jansen. I don't know enough about Moon Knight, but I think he's going to be in good hands.
I do feel like the last quote that Oscar Isaac asked when they asked if he was going to make another like Star Wars movie, he said, "When I need to buy a new house." And so I almost feel like, does he need to buy a new house because he's doing a Marvel TV series? Like,
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm still not sold yet. I'm not. Again, it doesn't come back to his chops. It's just more of like I don't think of him when I think of Moon Knight. He's not. There's stuff that you read or watch or mostly read, and you're like, I can imagine this person. This person would fit this character.
do you have
And
somebody that you can imagine?
that's what I've been thinking about. I've been trying to think about if there's somebody that I think would really fit, and I haven't come across it yet. There was a character though that I saw recently in Fargo. There's the character. I don't know if you remember the guy in the first season who's the death. It's like the henchman, one of the henchmen.
I feel like I'd have to see it again, but yeah, I think I know who you're talking to
He
or talking
There's
about.
something about his look, but also too just kind of his presence that really seems to key in on the same aspect of Moon Knight that I found pretty fascinating. Because Moon Knight, he's a basket case, like, but he's not. He he's that high functioning basket case, ironically, So he's like moving through the world, but he's got this disassociate. I think it's specifically disassociated personality syndrome, right? I don't think it's
I
multiple.
actually don't know.
I
I know nothing about Moon Knight.
I know
Yeah,
nothing.
it's interesting because Moon Knight's a really fascinating character, and like I said, I've been reading a lot recently because Matt Fraction did some stories with Moon Knight not too long ago. And yeah, it's just he's a really bizarre character, and it's really, I would see how difficult it's to write for the character too. Yeah, it's a trip. So it'll be pretty interesting. I'm definitely interested to see what they do with the show. But yeah, it'll be a trip for sure.
Okay, let's move on because I'm tired of seeing Olivia Munn cut a car in half.
Oh, thank you.
So sad. She gets such a bad rap.
We're gonna let's burn through the rest because we are actually I don't like we're having like, but we're gonna be here like all night talking about news.
It's fine.
haven't
It's
even-
fine.
Hey, last week there wasn't much news. This week there was a ton of news.
Okay, fine. Okay, well we'll next up Tim Burton taking
Don't
over.
rush me, Jansen.
Sorry. Okay.
No, we do whatever you want to do, man. I'm just
Yeah,
here for
dude.
the ride, baby.
Yeah, there we go. Tim Burton's taking over Adam's Family. Thoughts? Go. 15 seconds.
It's in his wheelhouse. I think it's a fucking perfect fit. Let's go.
All
I'm a
right.
big fan. I'm a big fan of Tim Burton. So
Does he cast Helena? Actually, are they still married?
no, they are not. They've been
I was
divorced
gonna
for quite
say, is
some
But
she
time.
he's
Morticia?
still gonna cast
Yeah,
her.
they still work
Is she
together.
Morticia?
What do they call that? What do they call those celebrity separations?
Yeah,
You
yeah, because she
know,
was in
Oh, I
No,
don't
I feel
remember.
like they cast like Eva Green. Is that her name?
Yeah.
I feel like her, or they should bring back Christina Ricci as Morticia,
that's
and they should do that.
that would be cool. That would be really cool. Man, I don't even know what she looks like nowadays.
I actually don't know. That's probably a good thing. It might not,
She
but
looks good. She looks good.
yeah.
All right.
I think
They had
it's
the whole Robert De
like
Niro thing
yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Really good.
I think it's in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Well, it's in his warehouse, but do you think, because I think Samantha's excited about it, but also too, she's been a little critical of his work
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
an extended period of time now, where it's not. It's that thing. I think we joke around. Where it's like Tim Burton trying to make a Tim Burton movie.
Jeez.
it's
It's
true.
like
I
it's like
watched
he's just
Dumbo
kind of like got to
recently.
get back to his own, like, I don't know, something. There's a little bit of something missing.
I think he's been more critical whenever he tries to take on projects that aren't in his wheelhouse. Like Adam's Family is in his wheelhouse, but like what he did with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I mean, he Tim Burton that thing, and it was just a disaster. See,
Yeah,
and that
that
was not in his
any
wheelhouse.
of his like his Disney movies,
Yeah, like Alice in
like
Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, that was not very
Ugh.
good.
Well, it'll be interesting because will be your first TV show, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when he has like extended time. He can kind of build out some stuff. So
You think
it
we're
could be
gonna get
really good, or it could be, he
could
might
be
not be
just
really good for
it
TV.
could be 10 hours of Tim Burton trying to
Exactly.
make a Tim Burton movie.
Exactly.
It'd be nice if we could get the Tim Burton and Danny Elfman combo again for Adam's Family.
I guarantee you get Danny Elfman to
Oh
do
man, let's
he's
do
doing
it.
he does the score. There's no way he doesn't do the score.
Let's fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Danny
Yeah, I'm
Elfman,
excited.
man.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Um yeah, that's it for TV, except for you probably didn't have time to do it, but the new Saved by the Bell trailer
I did
released
not.
today.
Are you
We
really
don't have to
excited
show
about
it.
that?
I wasn't until I saw the trailer, and
Really?
it's not that I'm like excited about it. It's did you watch the trailer?
The new one, new one?
Yeah, the new trailer.
Wait, they have
Yeah.
another
No,
trailer?
Yeah, they have the new one for the
I
new
only saw the
series
first one.
That's what I'm
that's
saying. How many trailers are there?
they just released one today.
But Anthony said that he saw the first one, so there's two trailers for the new Saved by the
Yeah, I
Bell.
guess that's what I was like. I
Oh
didn't know there
crap!
was another one.
Yeah, I saw one like a while ago when they first announced that it was coming.
Well,
Okay.
this one, I feel like it's what they're trying to do, and maybe they hit that recipe of kind of like the way Cobra Kai hit that recipe, where it knows what it is, and so
And
they
they
just
own
play
it.
into it, and they own it, and so I
Just
feel like
lean
that's
into
what
it.
they're just leaning into the ridiculousness of Bayside, and like if you watch this, like if you watch the trailer, like there's jokes where the high school like they're talking to like Slater and stuff, and just like you're a guy that likes hanging out with young kids. That's weird. Like, and they just like put like the Max is like this is such a weird like there's a joke about like oh I ordered ketchup on my or a cheese on my fries and then he's like check your pocket and there's cheese in his fries and he's like this place is so weird. They just kind of play into I don't know like
Oh
they
man,
play
I
into
wish I
like
saw the damn trailer.
yeah watch it. We don't
That's a
have
good
it.
sign.
Check it out. It comes out I think next week. But
Wait,
all right, moving
the
on.
show starts next week?
Oh no, next month. Sorry,
Oh, I was like,
so
whoa.
November. Yeah,
Well, which is almost next week.
Yeah.
We're not
yeah,
that
Yeah, that's
far.
actually,
true.
yeah,
That's
it's
true.
next
That's true.
week. Yeah, it starts next. Well, in like a few weeks. I know in the comic side, DC made a switch on their distributor again. There, Anthony.
Yeah, and I don't know. It sounds like almost. It's starting to kind of sound if it was planned or not planned. So it's weird whether this was always the plan going, like they were going to transition out, or if something happened and they were just like they just couldn't hang with it anymore. Because I think you got to think about it too. It's like if you're taking on essentially the accounts of all other stores in your like district. That's a lot to deal with, while you're running your own stores and retail spaces as
Yeah, and
well.
you're like a huge retail. In case people are watching, which may not be many, and don't really know what we're talking about. DC Comics moved away from their distributor. We talked about this a few
Well, one of their
episodes
they have
back.
two.
One of their distributors. No, I'm saying, but originally they moved away from Diamond.
Yes.
Kind of held a monopoly on comic book distributors, and they moved to two distributors. One was Midtown Comics, which is actually an online comic book shop, a huge one, and they own like a few stores in New York. And then I forgot what the name of the other one was called.
It's
It's another.
essentially Dynamic Forces.
Oh,
they have another online presence.
Yeah. And so it was a huge deal when they moved away because they were the first major publisher to break the Diamond like monopoly. But everybody thought it was weird that they were moving to like two retailers to distribute their comics to retailers. So it was like this weird thing, and now they're essentially it sounds like they cut Midtown away and they're just going with Diamond. Not Diamond, with Dynamic Forces.
Yeah, just called Lunar Distribution or Distributors is the official distribution like company.
You're right there, Caesar. You keep like going back, shaking your head.
He's got to wake up, man.
I'm checking in on that game.
He's fading.
Checking in on the
fading.
game.
As a
Does it make you sad?
I'm distracted tonight by this damn game.
Not going how you're hoping.
I mean, it's really close, but we'll see.
Out of that, tell me how you feel. Like, why does it upset you so
Yeah,
much?
why are you so angry with the Dodgers?
I just don't like them. I don't know. It's honestly, it's mostly the fans. I'm sorry, but the fans made me.
I was gonna mention that. It's because the fans are such jerks.
Yes,
they're like the Raider fans.
That's like literally
you
every
described it
town
perfectly.
You
described it perfectly. Honestly, I compare Dodger fans to Raider fans, and that's what it comes down to. And that's how I became a Chiefs fan because I hate the
Kansas
Raiders.
City fans, right?
You know what?
They're just jerks.
I am not happy with most Kansas City fans, mainly the Kansas City fans in Kansas City. Okay, so I learned a lot about those fans.
I feel like everybody's fan base in that market is annoying.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
No, I can understand that. That's probably kind of was getting that vibe from him. I'm wondering if it really is just the fan base that really.
I grew up. My friend Nicole, or Chris, you know Nicole. We worked with her at Wizard World. She calls me the worst Angelino ever because I don't like
all the Angelinos.
Pretty much, yes. I'm a Ducks fan. I hate the Kings. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. Hate the Dodgers. I grew up with Raider fans, and I went the opposite direction. Went Chiefs, and I hate the Raiders. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like I said, I never got into basketball, so I got nothing against the Lakers or against the Clippers. So more power to them.
There you go. All right, finally, our last new segment is video games. I don't even know. Xbox kind of did like a debut thing where they
we still have that.
Yeah,
the big news, and that was stupid. Did you watch the video? Anybody watch the video?
I did. It was dumb. Oh my god! Oh my god! It was. I don't even want to talk about it. It was lame.
It was pretty lame.
Oh,
I didn't watch it, so
you didn't miss anything.
No,
it was really like two. It was funny too because like, why do you have two people?
Yeah, there's like two guys that are like doing it, right?
Well, you could have just had one person run through it. PlayStation did it. PlayStation actually had a really nice user interface video. And what did they do? They just posted on the blog.
Yep.
And it was like, here you go. We're gonna go through this. And there was he didn't have the face too. It was Sid Schumann. I think he was the community manager at PlayStation. But basically, it was this video on the user interface. And it was just like him over to talking, just kind of walking you through like the whole thing. It was really, really well done. This one, you got two guys just like, oh, let's play another game. It's like, you didn't even play the first game, man.
So scripted. It was like a bad sitcom. It was like, what is going on? There was no chemistry between them. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, great! Let's try playing another game. It's like you didn't do anything in the first game.
Yeah, they did.
You moved the camera.
Okay, you showed us menus. Thanks.
This is running 120.
It's tough, guys.
What?
It's tough. Come on, it's tough.
It's not that tough.
No,
It's not.
PlayStation did
It's
it
it's
very
tough
simple.
when you have a crappy system like Xbox.
How do you know it's a crappy system? You don't even know that. Don't. You're speaking way
Why are
too
you so
soon.
angry, Jensen? What console are you
Because
getting
they're
next
like
month?
trashing something
What-
that
what-
hasn't
what-
Which
even come out
console
yet.
console
are
are
you
you
getting,
getting next
Jansen, on launch day?
Yeah, what console are you getting next
Five.
month?
But it's only because I couldn't get. It's only because I couldn't get an Xbox. That's it.
Did you try?
I did.
You could have went down to
told you.
GameStop and started working with the associates there on their Microsoft Surface tablets and be like, oh, I would
No,
like to be
no.
using all
I'm just saying,
access.
like, I feel like you're just trashing something that you know nothing about.
That's true. No,
So,
I am.
yeah. So just
I
wait.
am.
Just wait till it comes out,
We're
and then you're gonna
trashing
be like,
something from a company we have lots of experience with.
that has made good and bad systems. Just like PlayStation, they made good and bad systems.
Man.
No, a lot of their systems were pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
PlayStation has more
PS3
hits
wasn't
than
like the
misses.
best system in the world,
Let me
though.
see.
No, it was.
PlayStation-
It was so overpowered. That was its problem.
Yeah, that's true.
It was so
That
good
was-
that nobody knew how to program it.
That
for.
was more than
Oh,
likely.
then it was bad. Then
That was more than likely so many people's very first Blu-ray player too.
That's true.
That's true.
It was
And-
my
and-
first
and it
Blu-ray
won.
player, my first and only Blu-ray player.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you don't have a Blu-ray player,
No,
all
never
my
have.
all my Blu-ray players have been the PlayStation.
Yep, mine
yeah,
too.
my 4K player is my Xbox One.
And don't forget that war: Blu-ray versus HD DVD. Who
Oh,
won that one?
gosh.
360 or PlayStation?
Well, speaking of PlayStation, it was the PlayStation's anniversary, right?
PlayStation Deuce.
PlayStation 2. Yeah, PlayStation 2 had their anniversary.
Was it nice? 20? Was it 26 or
27th
27th anniversary?
27-year anniversary. You guys want to go down and reminisce, go down memory lane?
No, I want to talk about Cyberpunk and this bullshit.
Oh, I
I
forgot all about that. Like, it was a note on my thing. Okay, we'll skip PlayStation. I remember PlayStation 2, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah, it's a great
There's
system.
a lot of great
Unbelievable.
systems. It was an unbelievable system.
Metal Gear
Happy
Solid
birthday.
2. Happy birthday, PlayStation.
Yeah,
I'll
happy
say this
birthday.
much about the PlayStation 2.
Too bad we
I
can't
still,
play
to
it
this
again.
day, I have more games for the PlayStation 2 than any other console.
Oh, there you go. All right, now let's
Well,
move
and
on
it was
real
his
quick.
his best selling system too, right?
Mhm.
Didn't it sell the most consoles?
Yep.
Cyberpunk got pushed back 21 days, December 10th. Thoughts?
Not surprised.
I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
Now, actually,
You're not surprised for another delay?
I'm
yeah,
not.
they've just been delaying
No.
it. Now, I will be surprised if they delay this again. Like, because then if they delay this, then they're pushing it past Christmas.
No, they
and
can't.
into
They've already gone master. They've already gone gold, so they can't delay it again. The problem I think was that the
I thought
article
that
was
they
talking
couldn't.
about is they delayed it because the fucking day zero patch. They're still working on the day zero patch. So what they released for goal was just passable for the publisher guidelines. These phones, I'm almost at the point where I'm not gonna buy this game. I'm literally almost that serious.
Wait up, you criticize me for saying like, oh, Bond, like I'm not gonna see Bond, like it's, and you're just like, oh no, like I actually don't mind the fact if they push it back later. I think there's probably like 100, 200, 300 people that are working like 80-hour weeks right now, trying to
There's
get
no
this.
reason why they should be.
Hey guys.
No, that's what I mean, and I think that
Hey.
this was a way to kind of lax up on that thing. My door's knocking right now. Come in.
What were you gonna say, Caesar?
I touched on this a few episodes back about how
Good night, buddy.
publishers are
okay.
releasing.
You want to say hi to everybody?
Good night.
Good
It's really
night.
just them three.
Thanks, Jensen.
Can you shut the door?
Yeah,
I like your pajamas, man.
Yeah, I touched on this.
Way to bump us up. Way to fluff us up.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. But yeah, I touched on this a few episodes back about how publishers, they know they can release a game even when it's not ready because they got that bullshit of it will be, we'll update it eventually, and eventually those
Like
$60
early access.
you'll get your full game with time. But right now, we promised you a date. Here it comes. They're pushing it back. They're pushing it back. We're getting into that territory again where they're going to give us an unfinished game. We've been expecting this game. We've been excited for it. All the hype. Just like all those games that they've done in the past, all that hype is not going to live up. We're going to get this game and we're not going to be happy. Why? Because it's not finished. But they promised us a date. They had a deadline and they're trying to make that deadline. So you got these little pushes. Oh, we're going to push it again. Oh, we're going to push it again. But it's almost ready. It's almost ready. Bullshit. It's not almost ready. You need more time. Just be upfront and be honest. It's not ready. We need at least another fucking year. Be more like Bethesda. Don't fucking tell us your games are coming out
Just
until
give it the
you
title,
know.
and we know that 5 years
Yeah.
from now that game will probably
Stop
come
that
out.
shit. I don't know if you guys saw that text message or the message on Twitter that's been circulating about that guy that tweeted or tweeted. Who's the publisher for Cyberpunk?
Or Project. Oh God, why can't?
Yeah, CD
CD
Projekt.
Yes,
Project Red. Yeah.
thank you.
Uh,
Person tweeted them, and he said, just to make sure before I take the day off tomorrow, is this confirmed to release? And they replied saying full confirmation. And then they came out with this fucking statement today. I mean, come on, man.
That's a bummer.
Come
The
on.
poor guy took his day off work to play it.
That is fucked
And now
up.
has to go back like, oh, I'm not
Can
gonna
I
take
switch
my
it to
day off. Can I
December?
switch
Like,
this day off?
can I switch my sick day to? I have a doctor's appointment that was originally scheduled for this day, but now I need to move it to December 10th.
The only way this is going to stop, the only way any of this is going to stop is this reservation bullshit. They have this money in their pockets, basically. So many reservations at GameStop, at fucking Best Buy, on Amazon. This is guaranteed money already in their pockets. We got to put it out. We got to put it out. Otherwise, people are going to start canceling. Just put it out, and we'll update it with patches. We'll give them their full game with patches. Eventually, it'll be a full game. Bullshit. Anyone that's not watching right now, stop reserving video games.
Yeah.
Fuck. You don't need to. If you want to reserve something,
there's no shortage anymore.
never.
You will
Yeah.
get a game,
Never.
especially now digital. There's no reason to pre-order a
No,
game.
there's never been a shortage on video games. If you want to reserve a console, that's one thing I highly advise you to do. Definitely go reserve a console. But a game, whatever incentives you're getting, it's not worth it. Stop
That
giving them
skin,
your money.
man. You get that special skin.
Oh, Jesus.
Reserving.
Christ.
Okay.
Yeah, it just bugs me.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sorry, I went on a tantrum like
Tony, yeah, he went on a Tony tantrum.
It's just
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never been a fan of reserving games. I never reserved the game. Well, that's a lie. When I worked at GameStop, I did reserve games because it boosted my numbers. But that's the only reason I did it. It helped out the store.
Cheated the system, man.
No, it's they were legit reservations. I actually purchased those games, and I knew I was going to purchase them, so I reserved them.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but no, stop fucking reserving games because these companies can get away with releasing the game early and it's not ready.
I mean, I used to reserve games a lot when I was younger, but it was different, I think, back then. Because the updates wouldn't be like
Yeah, the
complete.
updates.
Yeah, they were complete games back then.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So I would have to reserve a copy in order to get that copy, so I could play on day one. I would have to get that because our whatever stores only had so many copies, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays you can just download it, so there's really
Well,
no
that comes
reason to
back
do
to
that.
like simple, like it's mismanagement or it's management that's not operating at a very efficient level. It's because it's like there's no need for crunch, there's no need for any of this ridiculous overtime and delays because you just didn't manage properly. You didn't manage your resources that you were given to complete a project.
Yeah.
Or reach.
Or you didn't
certain
have
milestones.
or you didn't have a realistic timeline
Exactly.
with the resources that were given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's just
Um,
this. Yeah, it's so stupid. It really
Yeah.
irks me.
that's it, guys. That's our news.
Damn,
Woohoo!
we're almost done with the show.
I know, like
Can we just move into the rediscovery and then
man,
save
but we
the
missed our-
spooky for next time? Because the
It's not going
the
to be
news
Halloween
might be-
next time.
Yeah, this is the
What's
last
that?
Halloween episode.
This is the last Halloween episode.
there's just so much. I feel
Well,
like
you know
this
what?
is gonna-
Honestly, there's nothing scarier this year than the election.
That's true.
We could treat
That's
that
true.
as the Halloween
There you go.
episode.
That's a good idea, actually.
next that's what we'll save our Halloween things for the election because it's fitting because
Yeah,
next week on election night we're gonna have a show
it's gonna
and
be
I'm
a
just gonna
bloodbath.
literally be watching the election on my screen and people are gonna do in real life my reaction and sorrow and misery and taking shots and drinking and eating cookie dough straight from a jar. I'm gonna do all those things live on broadcast. So we're gonna move straight into the rediscovery then, and we'll
I,
save up all the scary moments, that best Halloween scary moments.
I want to share something with
for
you
next
guys
week.
real quick. So you remember those scary faces I had on the episode last week?
Yes.
I was on Google and I was looking for scary faces, and that's
I,
exactly what I typed in Google, scary faces, and I can't tell you how many pictures of Trump came up. Just want to share that with you guys.
can you please do that? Like keep the Halloween,
Yeah, that will be the scary face.
make it a Trump pumpkin,
Oh, dude, then.
and then
Done.
just like scary faces of like Trump in the background.
I didn't want to be. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be dismissive about the spooky.
No.
No, actually, it's
Because
cool.
I think wasn't
I've been
those
trying to.
videos that Caesar was doing last night.
What you're doing for me is this is less work for me next week, so I'm cool with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm fine with making Caesar work for nothing. I do it every week. So.
Oh,
Let's move it.
before we move on, for anyone that's not watching, I am going to teach Chris how to use After Effects. So moving forward, some of our trailers may be actually edited by Chris. So if you see any issues with our trailers that are being played, no longer my fault.
You know what? But it's cool though. I'm gonna learn, guys. I'm gonna learn, and
And then
it's
that's
gonna be
when
a
he's
learning
really
experience.
gonna boot us. He's gonna be like, "All right, I have the
I got
ability."
this.
Yeah, I could do all my own graphics now. I don't need any of you guys. I talk more than all of you guys, anyways. My opinions matter more.
We have a
Okay,
new
so
segment now. Our
we have a new,
rediscover segment.
Oh,
has
new segment.
changed.
Introduce it,
yes,
Jansen.
this is very much this is our new segment. We talked about it last week. It's our rediscover segment. Every week we're going to be rediscovering something. We're going to start off in a 4-week period. We're going to do comic, movie, television show, game. So this week, if you listened to this last week, we were doing The Killing Joke, written by Alan Moore with art by Brian Bolland. It is an iconic Batman storyline. Up there with when people say like the great, like it's probably like one of the most referenced Batman storylines
Yeah.
with the Joker. Obviously like the iconic image of the Joker like with the camera, you see so much, and then like him shooting Barbara, like it's very gritty, like very dark
Yep.
Batman, right? But yeah, so this is our rediscovery portion. Every week we're going to be doing this. Tonight's we're going to be talking about The Killing Joke. And our thoughts. I'm kind of actually more excited about Caesar, just having Caesar talk to us about it, because
This is
Caesar
your first
hasn't
comic
read it.
book, right?
This is
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
Caesar
I've read
hasn't read this
comics. This one
storyline.
I didn't read it, but I had already seen the movie.
Oh,
Wait,
so you
what?
watched the
Yeah,
animated
so
show,
I saw
right?
the animated show, but yeah, the comic. There's a lot of stuff
Interesting.
missing in the
It
comic
wasn't
that
the
was in the
assignment,
movie.
but okay.
No,
Wait
I
up,
read
wait up.
it.
No, he read it too. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
wait up.
no. I'm saying
I
like
thought maybe you did like the Cliff Notes version where
no,
he's like,
no.
oh no, I just watched the movie instead. I'm gonna try to wing it. And so then when we're talking
Sorry,
about,
that's what I thought too.
No, I actually got invited by an old coworker, and I want to go see The Killing Joke when it released.
Oh,
We went to
nice.
theaters
oh,
and we saw it, so I had seen it back then. This is the first time I read it,
Oh,
so yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff in the movie that's not in the comic,
yeah.
surprisingly. But I think I prefer the the comic book version better than the fucking movie. I think there was just too many weird shit going on in the movie.
So overall, what was your in general impressions of it? Like,
Oh, dude, it's fucking good. Like, I was reading a lot of it, and I was genuinely getting goosebumps. And like, this is one thing I missed, and I'm so glad we're doing this segment. I'm so glad that we changed our rediscovery segment to this because it definitely pushes me to read. And I forgot how good it was to read. Oh, it's so good to read graphic novels, but to have them in your phone, it makes it so much easier and easy to fucking travel with them. And now there's no excuse not to read them because they're so easy to fucking just get. And the way the hoopla, right?
yeah,
mhm.
Yeah, the way that hoopla app. I know Anthony laughed at me yesterday, but I genuinely like the way it goes from panel to panel to panel as opposed to page to
It's
page.
a guided
Yeah,
view, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
guided view.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're right, Jansen. You mentioned that some people don't know how to go, like what orders the panels go. I didn't have that problem, but I just really like that it keeps you focused on that because that's one thing when I was reading comics, I tend to get distracted by other panels because of the artwork. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to read, but I'm looking down because the artwork looks so good. So I already know that something's going on down here before I read it because you see what's going on just in the images. So I like the way Hoopla takes you, you know, panel for panel. But god damn, the Killing Joke, I knew it was iconic. I knew people it was highly rated. This book is fucking good, man. And it puts the Joker for me. It puts the Joker in a whole new fucking light for me, because I'm more the movies and the animated show. So that's what I really know the Joker from. I know him as Jack Nicholson. You know him growing up, but man, this is a Joker that I've never really seen before. Very playful, but you actually see the sadistic part of the Joker in this fucking comic, and it's so good. And I love the relationship between him and Batman, because Batman is actually pushing, like, we need to figure out what's going on here, because eventually one of, like, are we spoiling this, or how are we gonna go about this?
If you haven't read The Killing Joke, I mean, it's a review of The Killing Joke.
Okay,
So
cool. I'm just making sure. Just making sure. It's not like we're spoiling
It's
it
like
for
what,
anybody.
30 years ago now?
yeah, I mean, it's in the
No,
80s,
but I,
right?
I love that it's true. We're at the point where what's gonna happen? Either I'm dying or you're dying. Like, we need to figure this shit out. And the Joker is just a typical fucking Joker, but I've seen him in movies, and when I actually saw the part where he fucking shot Barbara, I was like, what the fuck? I did not expect that to happen.
Mm.
This book is so fucking good. If you haven't read it, fucking read it. But yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun to read, and there were those moments where I was just like, oh shit, like what's gonna fucking happen? And surprisingly, it gives you those surprises. It kind of gives you those. I want to kind of describe it as a jump scare in a way, like that Barbara part. Like, I again was not expecting that. I was like, oh shit! Like, I reacted like, what the fuck just happened? So definitely love reading it. I'm glad we're doing this segment, and yeah, I want to read more.
I'm curious. Since you said like you've seen the Joker obviously in the movies. You said this is like a newer version. I was curious for both of you guys. Does the Joker in this, does it relate to, like, which movie version Joker do you think he relates to the most?
Hmm. See, I think he kind of crosses between several Jokers,
Okay.
but that's the thing. It's like, I would have to say maybe more Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson was still playful, but he got serious. Where Heath Ledger was always fucking serious. He'd laugh sometimes, but you knew he was always sadistic, very, very serious. Let's just exclude Jared Leto completely. But yeah, I think I would definitely compare him more to Jack Nicholson, because he kind of did a lot of the shit that this Joker did in the comic.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to pull the trigger. We saw that stuff happen.
It's interesting because I related more to Heath Ledger's Joker
Really?
Mm.
than Jack Nicholson. I get the playfulness, but I feel like they're the balance of just like obviously like in the story of like just making up like storylines of the Joker, like his past. The fact that he is sadistic, but I think Heath Ledger Joker is playful too. Um, and yeah, I actually I kind of look at him more as Heath Ledger's Joker, but I see the Jack Nicholson side. Anthony, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts
I
going
thought
back through and
all.
rewatching it or rereading
Well,
it?
it's interesting because I think this is where coming at it with the baggage of the history and the canon, I think revisiting it and rereading it, um, I was struggled with it a little bit because it's great that it had the impact it did on Caesar, because obviously it's the first time you're reading it, or at least experiencing it. Um, but for me, rereading it, I think a big part of it is I'm fucking jokered out. I think we've had in the last 3 years, there's been so much Joker and the main title Batman comic books where I think it's been run into death. So I'm a little bit jokered out. Obviously, this story is seminal in the history and the canon, and also too, it brought, like you were saying, a darker tone to the Bat series that was kind of absent for a long time from the books.
Yeah.
So it kind of jump started this whole new wave of Batman stories being told going forward. But I did find that the artwork, it was very arresting, very captivating. I've seen Brian Bolder stuff before, but it just seemed like it really fit for this story, and a lot of like the actions, the emotions, the physicality. His artwork really shines with conveying that, like, the doorway scene where it's the Joker, and you see these eyes in the
Yeah.
darkness, like stuff like that, and just some of his facial expressions with certain characters. It's very haunting, which I think was appropriate for kind of the whole atmosphere of the story in the book, and then also to kind of for Halloween. So it was very much like a horror film, but I struggled with it because I think even Alan Moore has said like he's felt like this isn't his strongest work.
Yeah.
He's felt like it's some of its lesser work, and I struggled with some of the themes and the analogies in the book. But I think the biggest thing is I'm Joker fatigued, and I thought the ending was left purposely kind of ambiguous.
I was a fan of it ending on a joke. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I thought that was like I was good at ending.
but it
I
seemed
actually like
interesting those last scenes where it's kind of, I know he was really going for the duality, like he's essentially saying Batman and Joker are just mirror images of each other.
yeah.
But it was really odd to see Batman laughing,
I love that.
alongside
I
Joker.
fucking love that because of how serious the whole fucking book is, and you finally get to the end, and he tells such a stupid joke,
Yeah,
but I
Yeah.
couldn't help but to crack a smile when I read it, and then I go to the next panel, and there's Batman cracking that same smile. I was like, you can't help it. It's like, this is your fucking relationship with the Joker. It's like you're never gonna get that answer you're looking for. This is just the way things are gonna flow. And I agree with you. You are jokered out. But for me, the reason why I really enjoyed it is because I've had the opposite effect, where I don't read as many comics as you do, so that's probably what's adding to your fatigue.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've had Joaquin Phoenix, who played a good Joker. I think he definitely did better than Jared Leto, but those are my last two Jokers: Joaquin Phoenix, Jared
yeah.
Leto. It was so
So
good to go
the bar was
back.
kind of really low. Yeah,
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 it was so good to go back to this style Joker,
yeah,
and it kind of touched on nostalgia again. I felt like I was more into the animated series again, but it wasn't really that fun Joker. There was still that sadistic Joker in this that felt good to see because it's just not something that I've had in the Joker for quite some time.
yeah.
And that's why I'm comparing him to Jack Nicholson, because I remember those days. And again, it's all nostalgia. And that's what this book brought back for me and it reminded me of how good these comic books can be
Yeah.
and how rich these stories can actually be. And you're saying that it wasn't his best work or he doesn't consider his best work. Fuck. I'm blown away by this book. And if he's got better shit, then
I
send it
mean, I
over.
like this work better than Watchmen. So. I kind of fall into your bucket, Anthony. I think it's Joker fatigue. So when I read it, it was nice to read it. The one thing I want to mention is the artwork. It's our version that I think that you guys probably read was the recolored and remastered version that um and I kind of want to go back and see because like Brian Bolland didn't have time to color it and he usually colors his own artwork. And so the colors in the original were done by another colorist. And there was a lot of issues with that because it
Mm.
didn't convey the mood that he wanted. And so I actually don't remember that. And I didn't get a chance to go back and see what the original colors were. But I know that this version that you guys probably read and like it's a moodier, darker version. Like I mean, like the that type of
Yeah.
stuff is uh yeah,
Definitely
I'm
adds
just
adds
curious.
something to it.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
adds something to it. Because it's amazing what art does to the story. And I feel like I have this really, and I've actually gone. I think I've talked about this before. I'm trying to go back through. Like I started going back through and reading like Tomb of Dracula. Um, And the way comics were written back in like the 80s is just really hard, or like early before that, really hard for me because it's so dialogue heavy that it didn't let the artwork convey the story. And that's slowly changed. And this was better because I felt like this is kind of like when I think Alan Moore, they did have a good balance of like just letting his art tell the story. Obviously, Alan Moore like lays it out and knows exactly what direction he wants to go, but they did a really good balance. And I think that's kind of why it's kind of changed the way like storytelling, Batman storytelling, and everything has changed since this. Like this was kind of like shifted the way people said like made stuff, like Alan Moore in general. But again, I'm kind of like Joker fatigued out. Like there's parts of it where I was like, I'm not like I'm one of the people like I could care less about a comedian that's trying a struggling comedian trying to provide for his wife. Like I know that's like a version of a like that's not the real Joker storyline. Like and it's kind of just and that's why I feel like it kind of reminded me of like Heath Ledger's Joker because there's always a new version that he says like how he became the
Yeah.
Joker. But that kind of stuff just bored me through it. I did forget just how like sadistic it was. I forgot like I
Yeah.
obviously I knew that Barbara was shot,
Hmm.
but taking like the nude images and when
Yeah.
he's talking about how she was found like undressed, and like pictures were taken and he's like showing them to her dad like when
Yeah.
he's like I just forgot all about that, which is which is kind of like what I read it yesterday because I have a bad memory and so that's I'm gonna read it like really as close by because yeah I just didn't even remember any of that and I've read this multiple times over the years, um
No,
but
one of my favorite parts that really kind of shows the type of how fun the Joker could be, and how somewhat normal he can be, which is the scary part about the Joker, is when he's actually talking to the fair owner because he's purchasing the fair from him,
Mm.
yeah
and they're having just a normal interaction. They're talking business. And the Joker is just coming off just really really nice. He's just talking,
yeah
and
charming
he's very charming and talking about, this is a really good deal. I feel like I'm robbing you. Let's go ahead and make a deal, shake on it. But he's actually thinking bad, and he does what he does to the fair owner, and he just walks away like that's just the norm for him. And that's the scariest part about him, because he could just come off like your fucking next door neighbor and you just never know. But that's the thing about the Joker. And that's why I compare him to Jack Nicholson, because I can't see a Heath Ledger, hanging out with somebody and buying a fare and, having that type of interaction. But I can see Jack Nicholson's Joker doing that. Definitely can't see Joaquin Phoenix Joker doing that. Definitely can't see Jared Leto because he comes off more as a mob boss. And yeah, that's why I have that comparison there, because that's the playful and that's the charming part of the Joker. But in the end, he's still that sadistic freak that
yeah
I fucking love. And that's earlier in the fucking book. Everything else after that is like, fuck, this is the fucking Joker. And this is the Joker I've missed. So, yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
fatigued.
I blame the fair owner though. Like, how do you not know the Joker? Like, clearly the Joker's been doing this for years. Like, you don't know you're dealing with the Joker. Like, do you think he's just gonna like pay you for
Well, he just,
your?
he wasn't hiding either, really.
Yeah, he
Like,
wasn't
No,
hiding,
he
but
it's
wasn't
a
in like
full get
faith.
up.
His full get up. Like, there's.
but the fair owner was also desperate. I mean, you'd be surprised what people do in desperate situations.
No, no one makes like no one,
When,
no one's one. It's actually funny. It has nothing to do with the Killing Joke. It has something to do with Joker. Um, my one of my favorite storylines ever for the Joker is in Batman animated series with the I forgot what the actual name was, but when the guy runs the Joker off the road, and do you guys remember that episode? And then the Joker
not
takes
ever
his
will.
ID and essentially
Oh
like he realizes
yeah.
that it's the Joker like
And
after he gets like chased down because he cuts the Joker off. That's
yeah,
what it was. Like
yeah.
he cuts the Joker off and then the Joker like chases him down
And his
and then he
life just
tries to run away and then he
changes.
realizes and so he takes his ID and then he's like essentially says like I'm gonna come for you and you're gonna do something for me or you're gonna die essentially like or I'm gonna kill everybody and years go by
Yep.
and then finally like it shows up the Joker shows up and he has like years later, he has like this task for this guy to do. I don't know why that brought. It's just like that's. So I guess this Joker reminds me very much of the animated series
Yep.
Joker. Just yeah, I feel like that. To me, the animated series Joker is one of the best versions of Joker that's ever like made.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the things I came across when it was like a comic book critic, he was basically, said Jeff Clock. He was basically saying both Batman and the Joker are creations of a random and tragic one bad day. Batman spends his life forging meaning from the random tragedy, whereas the Joker reflects the absurdity of life and all its random injustice.
I think like the Joker, yeah, he kind of conveys that when he's talking to Batman, right? He's
Yeah.
like, we're the
Yeah.
same person. One day I went this
Yeah.
direction, you went this direction, but we're literally the same person.
And I like that conversation comes up several times in many different ways. I know Heath Ledger, he had that talk with Batman too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
they
an unmovable object
Yeah.
meeting the like, yeah.
yeah they had that same talk, and I agree with you on the animated series Joker. Definitely, in my opinion, the best Joker. And the best part about that, like I said, I saw the Killing Joke the movie before I actually read the book. They brought back Mark Hamill for
Yeah.
that movie, which was it's on point. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, no better to portray that version of the Joker than Mark Hamill, so that was perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Overall, I'm happy. It's not like
Oh yeah.
I was really like worried that I wasn't gonna enjoy it because now like Alan Moore kind of in my mind like I'm just like over Alan Moore. Like anytime I hear him talk or anytime I hear him like critique like superheroes or something like that, I'm like I'm just over you. So I was like really worried when I watched it when I read it. Outside of the fact that I'm just Joker fatigued, it did like hold up. I could see why. I can still see why people it's held up as one of the best storylines for like Batman.
Hmm.
I could see that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Sweet.
that's it. That's our rediscovery.
nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Enjoyed it. That was cool. We're gonna do that every week.
On
Next
different
week,
things.
Next week is Dick Tracy.
Next week, yes. So next week is Rediscover film, and we're gonna touch on the one of the best comic book movies ever made.
We're gonna touch on Dick
Um,
Tracy.
Dick, we're gonna be watching Dick Tracy
Suck an egg.
and our rediscovery will be Dick Tracy, starring.
I can't wait to talk about this one because it was
I
a lot of
haven't watched
fun.
I haven't watched it in probably a year, a little over a year. So
I
it's gonna be
haven't
nice
seen
to
Dick
rewatch it
Tracy
again.
since probably junior high, so I'm fucking
Oh,
excited,
man.
dude.
It's so good. Like
Yeah.
it's not like it gets aged too. It's still
It's still
the way
campy
they-
as hell, but there's just like there's something about it that still holds up.
yeah, that's what I mean. I still feel like it still holds up, and I think it's just because the way it was shot, the portrayal, like the actors. Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm gonna watch it this week. And yeah, so next week we're gonna be rediscovering Dick Tracy, and talking election horror. We're gonna be talking top horror in video games and top horror in elections, and I'm probably gonna be glued. Like you thought, like I was worried that Caesar was gonna be like kind of out of it. Next, I'm just gonna be this way, and I'm not gonna be looking at Twitch chat. I'm just gonna be watching like states fill in red or blue, and you're gonna slowly watch me die or a smile grow on my face.
And it's funny as Chris and I were talking yesterday about the last time we went through the selection stuff. We were actually driving to San Francisco.
Yeah, we were up going up to the Tekken 7 World Tour, right?
Yeah,
Championships.
Yeah, the championships. Yeah, the national championships. So we were driving up to San Francisco, watching this on our phone, and then
Yep, and then
the bad news came.
Going and experiencing San Francisco right after it was, like right after it was called.
Gloom town.
Like people crying in the streets. Like it was.
Man, that I will never forget that feeling. That feeling
yeah.
was weird.
Yeah, that was so weird. So yeah, this time I'm gonna be spending it with you guys, talking horror.
Might get weirder.
It'll get weirder. That's it for our show, guys. Thank you for tuning in. For those that tuned in, guys, thank you as always. I thought it was good. I'm really excited about the rediscovery portion.
Me too.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
Good
I
idea.
think it's really, really good. So, yeah, so we'll be back next week, 7 p.m. PT time next Tuesday on Election Day, November 3rd. And don't forget to
Rediscover
Rediscover
your
discover
your
geek.
your
geek.
geek
Oh, God
with Dick
damn
Tracy
it.
next week. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.
Bye.